Retro.
And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Animanicast.
What have you three done recently to help Warner Brothers make money?
We signed up for HBO Max.
Not good enough.
And welcome, everybody, once again to the Animanicast. This, of course, is the podcast that is dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs, as well as other shows within the Rueggerverse, such as Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky and the Brain, and Freakazoid. And today, we're back with a review of the second season from the final season of the Animaniacs Reboot. That's right. I am Joey, and joining me once again is my brother Nathan.
GG, what now?
And across the country in Georgia, there's Kelly.
Hello.
Hey, Kelly.
Did you say it was the second season?
Did I say the second? I said the second episode of the final
episode. Okay,
yeah,
of the final season. Okay,
if I didn't say that before, that's what I meant to say. The second, yes, it's the second episode. Oh my gosh, now I'm really about to say it again. The second episode of the third season of the reboot, and this, of course, episode 28. It includes the segments "So Depressed," "A Starbox is Born," and "Royal Flush." And boy, if someone were to ask you about this episode, to just describe it, I don't know, in just a few words, what would you tell them, Nathan?
So depressing. No. No, that's fine.
Okay. And Kelly, what about you?
It was kind of depressing.
It was kind of depressing. Yeah, this one, gosh, I have so many mixed feelings about this one because it seems like it was just, I don't know, it just didn't quite hit the landing, I guess, on some of these segments. So I wasn't depressed, but don't watch this episode when it's at the end of a long day, because if you're like me, you might fall asleep a few times. Yeah, but that's just me. I think before we get into our discussion, we got and before we get to, of course, our facts and everything, we got to, of course, talk about Tom Ruegger and Paul Rugg going to WonderCon in just a couple weeks. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, if you are in anywhere near the Anaheim area, I got to tell you, get to WonderCon, because not only will Tom and Paul be having panels about Animaniacs and Freakazoid, but we're also expecting some special guests as well, including Steve and Julie Bernstein, John P. McCann, and Mitch Schauer, who all had parts. Well, they all had parts definitely in Freakazoid, but also some, majority of those folks, of course, also worked on Animaniacs as well, not just Freakazoid. So it should be a really fantastic time. And I can't wait to hang out with Paul and Tom and get coverage of it and everything. And there'll be some behind-the-scenes stuff for our patrons as well to kind of find out about how Joey got to Anaheim. Is he walking? I don't know. That'd be pretty bad. But how am I going to get there? We'll find out. And what's WonderCon like? You'll have to see. At any rate, you can get all that bonus stuff by becoming a member of our Patreon, but also this month is really a special thing, because if you become a patron before March 31st, 2023, then you'll be in the running for a signed Yakko Super 7 Ultimates figure, and it will be signed by Tom Ruegger. And that right there, that's like $55 right there worth of stuff signed by Tom Ruegger, and that's just priceless right there. So to do that, you just become a patron of at least $4. And after that month, hey, you could cancel if you want to, or you can just keep on supporting our podcast, whatever you like. But there's tons for that $4. Not only are you in the running, but of course you're going to get up to 60 plus episode commentaries, tons of bonus commentary, tons of bonus audio from us as well. So, boy, I mean, $4. What is that? That's maybe a cup of coffee at Starbucks. I mean,
and to get this like priceless thing, I don't know.
Yeah,
I want that.
It's less than. I mean, yeah. Usually, when I get a scratcher lottery ticket, I usually get at least $4 worth right there. And you know what happens each time? I lose. At least with this, I'd be getting something. I'd be getting, the audio commentary.
And you have much higher odds of winning this one.
Oh yeah, much higher. that's our Animanicast guarantee. Much higher odds than the lottery of getting something. Yes. But yes, there's lots of different tiers and everything, so check it out, and we would appreciate your support. Well, and good luck if you do join the Patreon. So, Nathan, I think we got to get right into our facts right here. So, Nathan, tell us, and I forget the name of this, but I'm going to go for it off the top of my head. Our February fun facts for February 17th. What do we got here, Nathan? Oh, wait. Before I say what do we got, you got to tell us what our theme song is. What's the theme song?
Oh, we need a theme song. The theme song today is called "The Air is Cold, the Sky is Dreary." It's fun facts for February 17th, and we have so many to give today. And when we say them, we're gonna hey. That's right. February 17th is the day today. Not today, but when the facts are for. Hooray!
Wow. It was again, a complicated song, complicated tune, but I liked it. So what do we got? What facts do we got for February 17th today?
Hey, I've got some birthdays, and I tried to find some birthdays in theme of this episode. So we've got like pop singers, we've got like London, we've got like influencers. I don't know. So hey, I know a singer named Billy Joe Armstrong. He was born on this day.
Oh, that's a guy from Don't Tell Me, Green Day.
Yeah, Green Day. He was an American though.
Idiot.
There's also an English pop singer, so that kind of matches up with England. We got Ed Sheeran, was born in Halifax, West Yorkshire. He's English, I guess, technically, right?
Yeah.
That was in 1991. And then as for an influencer, what better influencer than Paris Hilton? The original. She was born in 1981, I believe.
81.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, there we go. 1981 in New York, New York.
She is older than I thought she was. I thought she was like mid-80s for some reason, but I don't know.
She's older than she's ever been, and now she's even older.
And now she's even older.
As we all are.
Yes. Well, very cool. Thank you for the pop star facts. I think let's get right into our discussion of today's episode. But first, we got to talk about today's variable verse, which was folding paper cranies.
Folding paper cranies.
And Yakko and Dot had very nice paper cranes. They were very successful. And Wacko, not as successful. But he was very happy with it. It was kind of a ball of paper with two wings on it. But it still counts. I don't really know what to say about the variable verse, but you guys have anything to say about it? It's cute, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really have anything to do with the episode.
No, it was very, very random, but not one of my tops. But it was just like, oh, okay, cool, nice try, Wacko.
They could have also just said doing origami instead of folding paper.
Is that really Anime totally insane? Folding origami?
Yeah,
that's right. You'd have to mispronounce origami.
Sure.
Well, okay. Let's go ahead and get to our discussion of Soda Pressed. And Soda Pressed was written by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk, and it was directed by Katie Rice. Nathan, why don't you tell us what happens here in Soda Pressed?
All right. Well, the Warners are enjoying some ice cream at the Warner lot when they notice a bunch of people at some area in the Warner lot, and they're at there's all these kids, I guess, and they're like for some reason, Yakko's like, hey, look, it's the Tween Trophy Awards, which I don't know why he'd be excited for that, but he is very excited about it. And so they all run over.
Oh, look at how many of your fans showed up, Dot. I bet you're going to win an award.
But I didn't prepare a speech. Just a long list of people I've always wanted to thank, intertwined with humorous yet trenchant commentary on the state of the world.
And they notice that everyone's wearing these flowers in their head. And they're like, hey, Dot, everyone's wearing flowers in their hair. They must be honoring you. And, sure enough, they're giving a lifetime achievement for the Tween Trophy Award. I should pronounce that correctly.
Yes. It's like Tweety Bird. Tweety Bird came up with this place, yeah.
The Tween Trophy Award.
The Tween Trophy Award.
Norita is giving out this award, which is the most highest award for all the day. But as Dot's walking up to receive it, she announces Gigi Soda wins.
Make some noise for Gigi Soda!
Gigi, what now?
And we're like, who's Gigi Soda? And sure enough, Gigi Soda comes out. She sings a nice song about how her flower keeps all the negative energies away or something like that.
When I wear my flower, I feel like a star. Stream my single in your parents' car.
And, the Warners are upset. Yakko comes up and says that Dot should have won this.
Excuse me, I'm gonna let you finish. But Dot Warner is the most influential girl-fluencer of all time.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess they get kicked off, and they're like, we're going to steal that Tween Trophy Award. And then, so they're going to sneak into her house, and instead Wacko just rings the doorbell, and then they just kind of fall in, and they find the Tween Trophy Award. It's just on the mantle of the fireplace. They take it, and then a whole secret door opens up. They go down the stairs, and there is Gigi Soda. And she is wearing glasses. And she's wearing a sweater. Oh my gosh.
Is it morning already? Oh, I must have pulled another all-nighter editing my video.
Why doesn't she have a team? Like, she has all these backup dancers, but they can't afford anybody to edit her stuff.
No,
I mean, I empathize.
she's very hands-on.
I empathize. I've had, many late nights editing this podcast. But come on, Gigi. Like, WB needs to pay up and start, getting some...
Yeah, because she's a bajillionaire, she says, right? Which isn't even a number. Although there are an infinite amount of numbers, so you would think there should be an infinite amount of names for numbers, which means that every word should be a number eventually. Yeah.
Right. So bajillion is just really, 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 really up there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And just whatever name is not made yet. There has to be an infinite amount of names, right?
Sure. We'll just come
I'll go down this rabbit hole.
Bajillion exists. We're marking it down. A bajillion exists. It's just really
she's got
up there.
$1 billion or whatever. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, she's up doing all the work herself. She doesn't have any time to be a kid. So that's when the Warners were like, "Hey, should we give her a trophy back, or should we just, teach her how to be a kid?" So they do a whole song about how being a kid is a lot of fun, or something like that.
Have you ever kicked a rotten log just to see the bugs within it?
You'll never find a four-leaf clover by adulting every minute.
And, Norita comes out and she's like, "Hey, if you don't come back, I'm going to replace you with some random kid. So you got to go into this rocket ship."
Gigi, you are getting on that candy rocket, and we are blasting you into space to promote your space concert.
And then the Warners are like, "Well, we'll put Norita in this rocket ship." And they do that instead, and it's not a safe rocket.
With the kids, by the way. So
with the kids are also getting shot
putting little
into the
children in danger.
Mm-hmm. But she was going to do that to, Gigi Soda. So it's,
yeah,
I guess. And then so the Warners said, "Oh, we're sorry we stole your award." And then Gigi's like, "Hey, you stole my award?" And then she gets mad, and then she kind of goes back to where she was at the beginning of the episode.
What is the matter with you? You made me eat dirt, look at bugs, and scrape my knees like a child, and the whole time you had my award? This This isn't just an award. It's a sub I can smell. It's a like I can lick. It's a follow I can feel.
And she says, she jumps off the water tower, I guess.
He just jumps at him with sharp teeth and...
Yeah,
that's
because
end.
It's a like she can touch or something.
Yeah, she crushes up the trophy and rubs it on her face.
She's
gone insane. What an interesting end to this cartoon. Okay, let's go ahead and go over some cultural references before we talk about the stuff that we liked or maybe didn't like. First of all, they mentioned Chuck Lorre. Chuck Lorre is a television producer. He's produced a lot of things, so therefore apparently can afford a pyramid to, bring people into or something. There's this whole scene where Yakko says, "I'm gonna let you finish," and stops Gigi Soda from talking. And it's very similar to when Kanye West did that to Taylor Swift.
I'm really happy for you. I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Remember how it was fun? Like, remember when Kanye West was just kind of silly crazy and not anti-Semitic?
But even that
crazy?
Was kind of like...
Even that was kind of like, oh, boy, this guy
Yeah, that was like the beginning of Kanye, where people are like, oh, Kanye, that's not
cool, man. I still remember Beyonce in that.
You can
just
think
going,
that's fine. And maybe it's true, but you don't do that to someone else. It's like that's just not cool.
No, and
I don't think Beyonce
she didn't.
You don't
like
want to be in the audience. Yeah, exactly. Like to be called out like that, like in the audience, you don't want to be like just sit down.
No, she was totally just her expression going, "What are you doing? This is not like." What did he think was going to happen at that point? Taylor Swift was going to say, "You know what? You're right," and give it to Beyonce or something like that. It does nothing. Oh, Kanye gets help. Please get that man some help. Somebody. He needs a lot of it. At any rate, of course, Gigi Soda is based off of it's a parody of Jojo Siwa. Jojo Siwa.
Just think of your own name.
I just want to point out, I called it. Haha. And I don't even know why.
You don't know her name.
I don't even know her name, but I called it. And I think a lot of people are having trouble online. At least my thought was this morning. I wonder if people are having trouble online noticing the connection right away, because Jojo Siwa is a cultural thing from a few years ago. Really, she's not really as popular anymore, and so
she's like 20 almost now. So.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, she's still doing stuff, and I think she's still a positive influence for a lot of people. But she's not as. I mean, it happens. Like you have she's one of those 15 minutes of fame person who you got to use up. You got to cash in while you can, and she really did. She had tons of toys and dresses and all this kind of stuff for girls to get. And then I think she's just not she's not popular anymore. All those kids grew up and so did she. And that's just how it is. So, yeah. But I want to just point out, I called it. I was very proud of myself. It was not a human version of Dot. Just someone who may or may not have been stealing her look. Was that ever, I forget, was that ever put down for sure whether this Gigi Soda was intentionally stealing Dot's look, or was it just a coincidence?
They never said.
See, like, for them to be getting that mad at her when it could, like, I was thinking, like, I don't think Gigi was actually stealing that look. It was just a flower in your head, like, in your hair. Like, that's just a thing to do. At any rate, I wish I think the Warners would have been more justified for stealing something, at least. If it was very much like, well, she definitely stole.
Yeah, that should have come out at some point.
That should have been like, no, Gigi is definitely doing something bad. So therefore the Warners,
or at least like Rita, like told, someone
someone's doing it. Exactly. There's a lot of different ways they could have done that. That way they could have still had this redemption arc of some sort, or at least, to help her become a kid again. And it would still feel good, but they didn't. It was just kind of left out there. Anyway, Any other cultural references? Oh, I did notice they did almost say the word Hooters in this episode, because they talk about going on scooters and then eating wings at. And
I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be rhyming with knee, so I thought it was going to be KFC.
No, it was supposed to be eating wings at Hooters, and that's why they had a woman outside, down in a very, she's just dressed as a chicken drumstick, but it was supposed to be a Hooters restaurant, I guess, because that
makes more sense why they would.
And they cut it off.
Cut it out.
Or raced your friends on scooters.
You've skinned your knee. Ow.
Or eating wings at.
Gigi, where have you been?
Let's see. Any other little things? They mentioned HBO Max. Yeah, that's a thing for at least a while longer. Who knows what's going on with that wonderful streaming station? Call it a station? Service. Streaming service. So I'm so old. Yeah. But that's about it. I guess there's something, according to the wiki, I don't even remember this. So you think you can sing with a bag over your head? It could be a parody of a Masked Singer. Is that what you wrote, Nathan?
Yeah,
or is that
Masked
a wiki?
Singer. And so you think you can dance? It's like a combination of both of them, right?
Oh, I guess, yeah. So you think you can dance. And yeah, that was another Fox show.
And Masked Singer. So you think you can sing with a bag over your head? I'm like, it must be.
Okay. Okay. So a combination of Masked Singer and so you think you can dance. Okay. There you go. So many cultural references. Actually, not that many. But what did you guys think about this first segment of the show? Kelly, let's start with you. What did you think about it?
Well, it's weird because I just finished reading the book, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Oh,
yeah, I just saw that. It's a bestseller.
Yeah, and so it's about a young Disney Channel actress who kind of grew up and didn't really like being an actress and all that came with it. And she was constantly busy and on the run. And so it kind of made me think of this Gigi Soda character a little bit, and how young stars really don't get to have much of a childhood, and then they reach their 20s and they start acting out because they never got to play really, and
right.
So that's why I said at the beginning it was kind of depressing. I mean, I felt really bad for this character, and then I felt bad that they were giving her a hard time. Because I don't think she deserved it. Yeah. And she was just doing what she does. And it's not like she did anything to them. And I don't know, just didn't really make a great foil for this episode. And then it ended so strangely, kind of abruptly. And I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, it really kind of felt like the ending. I kind of felt like it was almost like the end of a bad Saturday Night Live sketch or something like that, where they don't know how to end it, so they just kind of go back. Are we supposed to feel that? I don't know. Like, are we supposed to feel like she is a bad person? Because I don't know. I don't get it. I didn't understand the writing in this one. It was confusing. Am I supposed to like Gigi Soda or not? The song was okay. I thought the song was kind of cute. I didn't like I thought it was only mildly gross when Dot broke her leg and had a bone sticking out of her.
Was the song supposed to be sort of a parody of Katy Perry's Fireworks?
I mean, maybe. I guess it kind of does sound like that.
Is it Fireworks? Because whichever one starts off with "Do you ever feel like a
class?" Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. Do you ever? Yeah. It's kind of like it has that little bit of. I wonder if you can take those same words, be a kid, like, and change it to firework. It seems like a lot of the songs, again, that are not. I'm waiting. and I got to tell the audience listening, I have not really watched much of the season. I have not jumped ahead. I am taking it super slow. I know almost 99% of the audience listening to us has probably already watched the entire season. I am not one of those people. Because we're really getting to deep analysis. This is deep analysis, folks. We take our time.
Yeah, deep dive.
But I really am missing Randy Rogel on these songs. And, or, you know, just for the traditional type of music writing, you know, I guess it just seems like a lot of these songs are, well, maybe that's unfair, because I was going to say, like, you know, the traditional Animaniacs songs, but then again, a lot of the traditional Animaniacs songs are all based off of standards and stuff like that anyway. So I guess I shouldn't be that harsh, but I don't know. These songs aren't quite working for me as much as I'd like them to be. It was okay.
I think, yeah, like I think if it was like half a beat quicker, I would really like it or something. I felt like it was just slow. Like it was just like a little too slow, and I was just like, if you just like speed it up just like half a measure or something, I think I would be like really liking it. But and the message was good, you know, it's fine, you know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing in that. There was nothing in that song that was like offensive or it was, I did like how they were saying play some jacks, and the Dot is just playing with a ball and a cup and looks miserable and wacko. Like they're just doing these old fashioned kid things. And it's like, that's kind of funny. Yeah, I do agree. The song was just tempo wise, perhaps could have been sped up just a little bit. Just, you know, just something, tweak it. But yeah, Nathan, what did you think about this? Anything that was funny? Anything that was kind of weird? What do you think?
I thought it was weird that Gigi sees them with the trophy, and they put it in their pocket. She doesn't seem to care at all. Maybe her glasses don't work well. Maybe she's just super tired. I don't know. But they're holding it, and they put it away right in front of her. I don't know. She doesn't say like, "What are you doing holding my trophy?" None of that. I did like that she was on the Zoom meeting. Was funny, as you know, she's like, I gotta do this meeting, and then they start turn down your microphone. I thought that was kind of funny. All right, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe she deserves to have 3 icons of children's television help her learn how to have some good old-fashioned fun.
Gigi, can you make sure you're muted? As I was saying. This it really did feel like. Like, this is another one of these episodes where I'm just going to say this one needed another draft. You know, like for this one to have gone all the way through.
One less draft, maybe.
One less draft.
Maybe they like had it on the draft before, and then they added another change. You know, where it's like sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Some reasonings get cut, and then things change. And honestly, if they just ended on the water tower happy. Like that's I mean, like I'm just thinking the original series, like when like the real foil in this really should have come out more strongly. Norita, and don't put the little kids in the rocket, because they shouldn't be blasted off with her. Just have the kids.
She would have been like, it was my idea to put that flower to steal on Dot,
and then blast her off into space in a precarious rocket while you. And the Warners and Gigi and all the little kids watch and smile as this shaky rocket goes up into the space, and
she's fine. And she'll be back.
She'll be back. She's not really dead, whatever. But it's kind of like the reasoning of a lot of this stuff just really felt off. Like it was not. I don't know. When I had so many problems with the decision making of the Warners, I will say that it's kind of a Spielbergian reference right there, Kelly, with the taking the trophy and the little pedestal falls down. It was very Raiders-ish. So we have 2 episodes in a row with kind of a Raiders reference, I think. But,
I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
A little stretch. I don't know. I got to give him some credit, maybe. I don't know. Okay. But it was kind of like a temple. You take this off, the thing falls down, and instead of the walls collapsing, the door opens. Sure, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just a trap door. At any rate, let's see. Any other little things?
I liked Rita, when she's giving her speech, how she seems like she really doesn't want to be there by saying... Yes. Like, so
my great obligation and distinct chore is what I wrote down. Fun. That was probably the highlight line for me as well. So, but yeah, really just wasn't hitting for me. This one, definitely the ending. I just wrote on my notes, weird ending, stole my award. I was just like, that is just weird. It came out of left field, and I did not understand the motivation of that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and move on. We got a middle segment to talk about. It's another one from Starbox and Cindy, and this one's called A Starbox is Born.
When he sends the signal, we start the invading. Until then, we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting.
And A Starbox is Born was written by Jess Lacker. Still don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm sorry, Jess. And directed by Katie Rice. That I can pronounce. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this. The plot is basically, well, it's Starbucks and Cindy once again. And Cindy's putting on a little doll show. And Starbucks, boy, he just falls in love with the star actor in this.
Romantic love. Love is romantic, and I think it's neat. Romantic-y, romantic-y. I love you, and I'll take care of you, and be your friend. And you don't have to worry anymore. She died.
It's kind of, again, it's a little kid doing the narration on this. So it's a little hard to follow what the heck is going on in Cindy's brain. But the girl dies at one point, I think, comes back to life at another point. But meanwhile, when all this stuff is going on, Cindy's show is going on, there's in the background, the leader of Starbucks' planet, Grimlocks, has gotten fed up with Starbucks taking so long, so he sends this kind of predator-ish kind of looking alien to assassinate Starbucks. And right before he shoots, Cindy grabs the assassin, and now I guess she has two toys. So I wonder, will this assassin show up in any additional episodes of Starbucks and Cindy? My gut tells me probably not.
Oh, really? I think it's a definite yes. But
you think it's a yes? Oh, you've seen it?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I mean, I haven't seen it based on the show notes.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
but I don't know.
Then the debut appearance. Oh yeah, good job, Wikipedia. You spoiled it for me. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway.
But also, it has a name. His name's Scout. He's in the credits.
Hey, Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Voiced by someone, some woman, and I'm like, what?
Well,
I don't remember Scout even saying anything. But
big fan of To Kill a Mockingbird. Scout. Okay.
Maria Bamford. Yeah.
Wait, Maria Bamford did Scout? Really?
The Scout. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Maria Bamford is so hilarious. I love Maria Bamford. Oh.
So I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm just looking, and I'm just seeing Carlos Alzaraki did the Alien Leader. He's a hilarious guy too. Oh my gosh, who's Starbucks? Starbucks is Danny Jacobs. I don't know Danny Jacobs, but the other Maria Bamford, I love her. She's amazing. So yeah, well there you go. She does. She's great.
She does Julia.
Well, now I like the segment more now.
Yeah, she did the mouse Julia as well.
So why did I not know this? Why did I not pay attention to this before? Oh my gosh, I love Maria Bamford. I think she's hilarious. Okay, well, at any rate, what did you think about the Starbucks and Cindy? Kelly, I'm going to go back to you again. What did you think?
Was it me or Cindy look and sound a little older?
She does. I think it must be just because the girl who plays, I don't know off the top of my head if it's the same girl or not. Is she even credited here in our little wiki notes? It's Eleanor Johnson. And I think she's Katie Rice's niece, and I think it's just from getting older. So yeah, she did sound older. It did sound, also like, different. Her voice did sound younger at some points and older at some points. So it did kind of sound like, when you're taking audio from different bits and pieces and editing together that, to make it a somewhat coherent story, that maybe that's what's going on here. Kind of reminds me of like on YouTube, there used to be the kid kid lip syncing kind of people who would take, kid conversations and just lip sync what they were saying. And this reminds me of that. Yeah. Nathan, what did you think about the Starbox and Cindy?
It was fine. Yeah, I felt like she definitely sounded different in parts. I think she was easier to understand now. I think they lowered some of the background noise a little bit, so it's harder. I think it was easier to hear her. But there was times where it felt like she was like, now you have to say this. She's like, fine, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I felt like there were certain lines where it felt like I didn't feel her passion for it or something.
It was less organic, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I did get that feeling too. Like, I think they're getting to the point. I think they got to the point where, hey, that was successful, but now we actually want to talk about. We're actually going to be doing X, Y, and Z. So, hey, kid, say this. And which isn't to say that that's bad to do that, but it kind of was going against the initial formula of what they were doing.
And I wonder if the reason she sounds younger and older is because maybe she recorded an hour's worth of stuff 4 years ago, and now to make an actual story, now we need these connections of I need to tell a story. Oh, he needs to be wearing his armor.
Come back in and say these few words. And, I agree. I think that could definitely have happened because these cartoons take a long time to make.
Yeah.
And, she could have just done some ADR just a few months ago for all we know. And, I agree with you, Nathan. I think I think that's what happened. But it's Starbucks and Cindy. Oh, and I guess we should mention that also in case you didn't know that A Starbox is Born is a parody of the title Star is Born, which I remember seeing that movie, the Lady Gaga one, a few years ago. I liked it. Kind of depressing, but it was still a good movie.
Are there 3 versions of that movie?
At least. I think at least 3. There's a Judy Garland one, I think.
Yeah, it was 1937 and then Barbara Streisand and then this one.
Yeah.
Anyway. There's quite a few.
Well,
I liked her song. It was fine, I guess, dancing with the...
Yeah, I did. I liked the shot of the intimidating Cindy looking down at him, like the scary one. I thought that was kind of cute, but not great, but not bad, I guess is what I could say about this. All right, let's go ahead and get to our last segment, which is Royal Flush. And Royal Flush was written by Kathleen Chen and by Brian Polk. It was directed once again by Katie Rice. It's Pinky and the Brain once again. Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in Royal Flush?
So Pinky and the Brain have gone to London. They are following a Prince Barnaby and Abigail on their honeymoon.
We don't want the young British royal Prince Barnaby and his Australian bride, the Duchess Abigail, to see us while we take paparazzi photos.
Brain keeps arranging for Abigail to be in these really unflattering photos, and so he's selling the pictures to the tabloids.
Eat your heart out, Annie Leibovitz.
She's sort of painted as an outsider, and she's Australian, and so it's like she doesn't really belong. She's not British. It's really starting to hurt her feelings. I mean, she's just kind of frustrated and over it. And Brain wants to take the money that he's earned, which was £5 million, and he uses that to enter the secret poker game that Prince Barnaby runs.
£5 million is the exact amount of money I need to enter Prince Barnaby's secret underground poker game.
And he wants the prince to bet on his kingdom so that he can take over the throne. Pinky, they have this whole conversation about fish and chips, and Pinky's mad because he ordered chips but got fries, and then, fries are chips, or chips are fries in England. And
here in England, fries are called chips, and chips are called crisps.
Oh, I get it. He lied. Come, Brain, we must prepare for tomorrow night.
Quiet, you masticating moron.
Then he was trying to eat Brain's chips, and that ensued a whole nother conversation. So it was kind of crazy. And
as in poker chips.
Yeah, right. Poker chips. And so it kind of leads into, Pinky dealing with all the weird customs, or at least weird to him, of England, and some of the terms and languages or terms of the language. And he runs away after Brain gets mad at him, and he runs into Abigail, and she's all upset, and they decide to run around London together and see some of the sights.
Then bend over and chunder up our steak and kidney pie.
How about the food so bad? It's always dense and it tastes like glue. Here where the words are lies, they say chips are fries and call everything pudding.
And they have a little song duet that sort of reminds me of A Whole New World.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, Brain is still playing the game, and he's already won some castles, and he gets Barnaby to offer his throne as collateral.
Barnaby, I have something to tell you.
And I have something to tell you, Brain. I want to go home.
What?
But sugar lumps.
Yes, I'm not happy here.
I'm tired of being a princess.
What can I do to help?
I could offer you this handkerchief. Soaked in chloroform.
Brain knocks Pinky out with some chloroform, but Barnaby actually decides to abdicate the throne so he can move to Australia with Abigail. And Brain's really upset about this because he was just on the verge of winning the throne, but now that Barnaby's abdicated, he's not going to. I guess it goes to the next in line, whoever that is. And then Brain basically admits what his plan was, and Abigail finds out that he was the one that took the pictures.
You can't do this. I didn't take all of those embarrassing honeymoon photos of you just to have my plan fall apart at the 23rd hour, GMT.
You're the paparazzi who took those pictures.
Security!
Oh dear. Time to rouse from your slumber, Pinky.
Well, Brain has to basically drag Pinky because he's still unconscious, and they lock themselves in the bathroom, aka water closet. They flush themselves down the toilet, and then they get washed out into the river.
You know the irony of all this, Pinky? I had a royal flush. Come, my friend. We must hail a cab and endure the driver's long-winded prattle about Brexit if we are to return to the lab and prepare for tomorrow night.
The end. Yeah, it took a while for me to figure out in this one what the heck Brain's... Because we just had an episode where the whole thing was Brain needs money. And I thought this one was literally just going to be, we're never going to find out what Brain's plan is for conquering the world, or at least a portion of it. But we did. It just took a little while to get there. He's, trying to rule England with an iron fist. And once he takes over this... what's this? I don't know. What's this prince's name? But anyway, once he takes over. At any rate, so let's see. So the main reference is we're talking about the royals. What do we have to say? I'm so not into. Is it Prince William? Is that to do with this?
Harry, Meghan Markle.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Yes, those two.
Barnaby and Abigail was what they are.
Yes, Barnaby and Abigail.
Always.
Yes. So that's the major one, and it does seem to mirror a lot of what their real life has gone through. Harry has essentially, they left the royal family. They just lost a castle, I guess, or something like that, or at least a house that the Queen gave them. Which I don't know if they really cared about that. They're living here in America instead of Australia. But obviously, Meghan, has been treated harshly by the press in England, and some of that could be racism. I don't know. It's
xenophobia. I don't know.
Xenophobia for sure. I don't know. It's me being an outsider. It's myself of England. It's hard for me to, and obviously I don't really follow the royals that much. But it was kind of interesting that Abigail on this was not seen as necessarily a complete poor me victim, because she just talks about, just to be normal again, playing polo and now let's go back to Australia where we can go back on stolen Aboriginal land and stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny there. She's not like the completely innocent or anything like that. But, I think there was also, James Bond, big thing with the whole poker thing. Obviously the brain looking very much like James Bond, and the folks that were sitting at the table look kind of like James Bond villains. And of course, Pinky, boy, he came in dressed like a Jessica Rabbit-ish kind of girl. And it had some sort of, what was it, couscous?
Couscous Israel or something. I was like looking through all the James Bond girls. I was like, maybe there's a Bond girl that's like very similar. I was like,
no, just it kind of sounds like it could be. Yeah, it could be something close to a James.
But
Bond
I looked
girl.
through all of them. Yeah,
I mean, they've had tons of weird names of Bond girls, so it fits. I could see a Bond girl named Couscous. But yeah, I don't know what that's. I think that's pretty much it. Is there any other kind of references that you really see? Because I have a lot of notes about what I noticed about the episode, but not really any cultural stuff. Did you guys see any other cultural references?
There's the Chicken Boo reference.
Okay, where's the Chicken Boo reference?
On one of the magazines, it says like Chicken Boo's recipe or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
So I must have not. I paused most of those magazines, but then by then I didn't really care anymore. So I missed the Chicken Boo reference. Oh well. Well, the Chicken Boo of the reboot is a different Chicken Boo for me, so I don't really like this Chicken Boo that much. But okay.
What about Baby Chicken Boo?
Baby Chicken Boo is pretty darn cute, so I guess maybe I'll like him, But anyway, what else we got, Nathan?
Okay. The brain mentioned Brexit.
It did mention. Okay, we got Brexit. There we go.
Yeah, there was a song that played while Brain was taking pictures, and it might have been a
what
Lay
was
Responsibles.
That song? You think that's what it was?
According to I heard the notes here. It says a song that plays during the montage of Brain taking the pictures of Abigail is "Lay Responsibles" by Jacques Dutronc.
Okay,
Dutronc.
I did like that song. I was like,
and
I wasn't credited in the credits, and I was just like, wait, what is this? So yes, I did like that song. I liked that song a lot better than the actual song that was sung, actually, which I thought was a little slow. It's like I wrote slow, boring Disney song. I liked Pinky's lines, but but Pinky's lines about he was just upset with how everything's called something else. This running gag that he's having throughout the entire cartoon.
Which I was so sure that was going to be the reason that Brain's thing failed. I was like, oh, it's all leading up. They keep saying it's going to be a problem. And at the end, there's going to be something like that. And it never came.
That's true. It never comes.
Once again, Pinky, your refusal to review your English-to-English vocabulary flashcards jeopardizes the entire mission.
The closest it comes to is the whole chips thing where he's eating the chips. But also you want to talk about like the where it goes from writing to animation not quite matching up. The brain says,
Pinky, what have you done? Those were nearly all my chips.
No, Brain. You're thinking of crisps.
He only ate one chip that we see, and then he throws it up immediately. So Pinky ate no chips. And so it's almost like in the initial recording, like Pinky was just eating a bunch of chips, like eating the poker chips. That did not happen. That was again, we can talk about another frustrating plot moment for me. There you go.
Maybe Brain's just exaggerating. Brain's very greedy about his chips.
All my chips, one chip. It's like, no, you got a pile of them right next to you, Brain.
And it's almost all of them.
It's almost all of them.
I'm taking
Kid.
He's bad at math. He's not a genius like Pinky.
Apparently. Yeah. It also sounded like the brain was recorded. This sounded like another pandemic recording to me. In fact, I think if I were to guess, that's why they did a few of these Pinky's how-to episodes, because the brain or Maurice's audio just sounds a little bit, it just sounds different. Like the quality is a different, it just sounds like they're in two different studios or whatever. And maybe that had some sort of effect on me with how jokes were working as well in this Pinky and the Brain one. But just listening to the brain speaking versus Pinky, there was a definite, at least for me, change in clarity of their voices, at least for me. I don't know. Speaking of changing quality of clarity, let's go to Kelly, who's having some trouble with Zoom today. Anything else that you might have noticed with this Pinky and the Brain episode? Anything that made you laugh or anything, Kelly?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, just, I just remember one more cultural reference. He mentions Annie Leibovitz, who does great Star Wars pictures for Vanity Fair. That's
okay. I was like, I heard the name and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, she does. She works for Vanity Fair and I'm sure probably other magazines as well. But yeah, anything else, Nathan, in this
Pinky and the Brain were getting shipped again in this episode. Did you hear the reference to that? The Brain says it's too romantic, and then Pinky's like, "Oh, I know." It's and then of course Pinky's dressed as a girl, as Brain's date. So there's definitely some shipping going on in this episode. But Pinky was definitely thought it was romantic with him and the Brain in the stables.
Yeah, and he's definitely looking to the Brain like a romantic kind of thing with him and the stars, and equating like where Abigail looks to the stars and sees the prince, he looks to the stars and sees Brain.
So there's definitely something going on.
Yeah,
at some level of the, I don't know if it's it's probably both writing and artists.
Yeah,
I think it's all happening.
Yeah, I just wrote down that the timing on this one just felt off. Like Brain giving. Like, I really liked, when I think about it, the idea of the Brain giving Pinky a handkerchief covered in chloroform and to knock him out. That felt, that's funny, but the way it was directed and just put together just felt rushed. Like there should have been a comedy beat right in there. And
I thought it was funny that when Pinky asked for it again, because he was like, "I'm so tired. Can I have that?"
Yeah, it just seems like just the things that they were taking their time on in this one was the song, which was again the emphasis on that one seemed to be I'm hearing more of Abigail's lines. I don't care about Abigail. I don't care about this character. I care about
Pinky's
Pinky.
lines are very funny. Yeah,
Pinky, but he's not the majority of the song. The majority of the song, it seems like anyway, the focus is on her, which. She's just talking about, I wish I had and I guess it's supposed to be funny with it saying, let's go to eat pastries and throw them up or something. I don't know.
And there's no kangaroos and, it's funny.
The stuff she was saying they're singing wasn't the funny stuff. Pinky was doing the funny stuff. It's almost as if Pinky, I don't know. It just, the focus seemed off. The timing was off. The direction was off in this one. It did not work for me. It should have. Like, again, when I look at this on paper, everything, like, as a checklist, like, oh yeah, everything looks like it should work. But then when it's actually executed, it's not working as good as it should.
It's strange that Brain just shows his cards, the two queens. It doesn't seem to care about
and
that.
That fell over too. And I thought that was going to have some sort of plot
showed
point.
Your hand.
Yeah. Had nothing to do with the plot at all. That had no impact on his hand or anything.
Well, I did think it was funny when Pinky saw that he had two queens and said that we'll have trouble spelling something with that, like they were playing Scrabble.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. Okay. See, I'm glad you caught that because I didn't really get what Pinky thought they were playing. So yes, Scrabble. That makes more sense.
Scrabbles make sense. Yeah, and then Brain treating the game of poker like, oh, you just seem to be smart or something. Like, I don't know how he's winning all these hands because there's a lot of luck that goes into, no matter how much skill or intelligence you have, like knowing the statistical odds of winning doesn't mean you're going to win. If, having two queens doesn't guarantee you're going to win because there's going to be a better hand. I guess when he had the royal flush, he knew he was going to win. It was the only time.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah. Again, I'm trying. I just want to let folks know if you really love the reboot, and I'm sure and many of our listeners absolutely do, and you've gone this far. I'm really trying to find things that I like in these episodes, but the more I analyze it, and then I ended up just finding more things that don't work for me. I just apologize for people.
I think it happens with anything you watch. You want to overanalyze. You'll start finding like, well, this is kind of like you could do that to Ant-Man or something, or any of these
or any
Marvel
of the Star
movies,
Wars films,
Star Wars movies. You start going really into
like, why
did he do this? And it's like because it's a cartoon. It's fine.
Exactly. Just move on.
It's supposed to be funny.
Stop the podcast. Okay, we're gonna stop. Let's stop. Let's go ahead and get to our water tower rating. Okay, out of 5 water towers, how many would you give this episode of Animaniacs? Kelly, let's start with you.
Oh, I'll probably give it a 2. And I don't know, maybe can blame it on my anesthesia yesterday. Or what. But none of it really, it all felt flat for me. None of it really made me laugh. I think the songs in both segments really dragged on. They were kind of sappy, and I'm not here for that. I got Disney for that, and yeah, even Pinky and the Brain wasn't as funny as it normally is. Usually that'll kind of make up for anything else, but didn't work for me.
Okay, Nathan, what about you?
I'll give it. I'll say a 3. I thought it was fine.
Nathan's going on this. You always go on the scale of 1 through 5 for reboot episodes.
Yeah, this is the reboot episodes, and based on the first episode, I gave a 3. This is probably around the same as that very first episode. Although the first episode did have Jurassic Park, so maybe I go to 2.5. But I'll be generous. I'm going to say a 3. I think it had songs, and things weren't like overly gross in it, and the songs weren't like bad. I'm not going to be stuck in my head later, which is nice. For sure. So yeah, I'll just say 3.
Okay, well, I'm going to agree with Kelly, and I'm going to say a 2 as well. Again, I would go lower, but again, nothing in this was like terrible or anything like that. Like for me, it was fine. But again, am I going to revisit this? No. Am I going to? Did I really find anything amazingly funny? Not really. I did like one part that made me chuckle, which was Pinky talking about how he was kicked outside and now he's an outsider. I thought that made me chuckle. But yeah, it was just meh. It was a meh episode for me. So yeah, that's a 2. It's a 2. Well, let's go and get to some contact information. Nathan, where can people find you online?
Joey, I'm on Twitter, JangoFT. That's neat.
All right, and Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS.
All right, and as for the Animanicast, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, other stuff. Subscribe to us or follow us on whatever podcast player you like to use. And hey, become a member of our Patreon, patreon.com/Animanicast. And we, of course, are a proud member of the RetroZap Podcast Network. And you can head on over to retrozap.com today to not only listen to episodes of our show, but also go back in time and listen to a bunch of amazing podcasts and articles and everything that's being published all week long about everything pop culture. You can head to the Discord RetroZap group and talk about Animaniacs or pop culture stuff there too. At any rate, for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Brain told me to go outside, and now here I am, an outsider!